Hey everybody, welcome back. So we are in my office, obviously, and I've waited till just a little after 8 o'clock, it's 8:02 now, to really start this video because I wanted to give, I said 6 o'clock, everybody get your questions in by 6, and we would, and I would start answering questions then, but then I realized that when I said that, 6 o'clock my time would be 7 o'clock Eastern time and 4 o'clock Western time, like Pacific time. So, by the way, I'm having some Topo Chico. This is mineral water, because, you know, diabetes and everything. So, we're going to have this. It's, I thought about having a little bit of tequila. I even brought it in here, and this is my favorite brand, Sauza Tequila. I can get drunk off that stuff. And, but what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of this, just to flavor it. Somebody said something about, like, recently about, like, trying to make their own soda, a friend of mine online, and, as you can see, it's just like, it's a little black cherry blackberry, or cherry blackberry or something like that, so it's supposed to fix your, craving for soda. So the Topo Chico is a 0-calorie drink, and then this on top of it is also 0 calories. So, so that right there is supposed to make a nice blackberry cherry drink that is 0 calories and fix your soda cravings. So we're gonna try that. I might put a little tequila in it, but maybe not. But anyway, let's get on to asking or answering the questions. So it's after 8. If there aren't any questions that come in while I'm doing this, I'll probably answer them because I'm a nice guy. So if you're seeing this after it's posted, hey, you know, sorry. All right, so I'm going to start at the top, work my way down. I am going to answer one question first, okay? Stan Saznak, as we all know him, on here, I know him as Stan, asked, what's the gang sign that you flash at the end of your vids? So, Stan, there's a little story behind that, and as all my friends will go, oh, not a story, I'm going to tell you a story, okay? So, back a few years ago, I was running for a place that I had an ungoverned truck. And one of my favorite things to do with a truck that's ungoverned is to look over at the person that I'm passing and see if they're, like, giving me a stink eye or if they're like, yeah, a thumbs up or whatever. Most of the time, it's somebody giving me a stink eye. A lot of trucks are governed at 65. Some trucks are governed at 70. Some are governed at 75. I was in an ungoverned Peterbilt. So, it kind of came out of a couple things. I would look over, and as I was going by, so imagine me passing you at this point. I'm rolling, right? I look over like this, and I go, you know. Well, in high school, when I was in high school, this sign this is what we threw up to everybody. So it was our little way of going, peace. So I just picked it up. Me and my friends, we go like, yo, peace. We'll see you later, you know, or peace. You know, I'm so used to doing that now. It's like I can't do it. We go, peace. And like, see you later, and go on out the door. And so what happened was I would be passing people, you know, driving along, what's up? And I would just do this thing where it was just like, I just look at them and go, just keep going, you know. I was flying. So that was where that's where these two things came from. Well, when I started the YouTube channel, I wanted to stick out a little bit. Just because I wanted to stick out a little bit. You know, I just saying goodbye was so droll, I guess. And if I said anything else that anybody else was saying, I felt like I was going to end up being too cliche. So I was trying to come up with something that wasn't cliche, because I don't like cliches. And at the same time, I was trying to come up with something I thought would be a good ending to every video so that everybody would know the video was over. Because just saying goodbye or I'll see you later or whatever just didn't seem to work for me. So that's when I came up with, I always like the term keep the shiny side up. I don't know, I always kind of found it kind of funny. Because it was like shiny side, I think it's dirty side or something, like dirty side down or greasy side. No, it's keep the greasy side down and the shiny side up, I think is what it was. And I just thought that was a funny saying. So I was, you know, I always liked that. And then, so that's where that part of it came from. So it was keep the shiny side up was this, you know, this being up, and then peace, and then this. Well, there was years ago, there was a guy who worked for 99.5 The Wolf. It was right after they had changed. They used to be KPLEX, and so it was KPLX Fort Worth Dallas Radio or whatever, and they were 99.5 KPLEX. And they had this slogan like Flex Your Plex, and they had commercials that were like Flex Your Plex, and somebody would have a sticker right here on their arm, going Flex Your Plex, and there would be a sticker. And when they changed, they became 99.5 The Wolf. Well, they wanted to be a little more country and badass at the same time. And they hired this guy to do the traffic. His name was Justin Trezale, Airwolf, Texas Traffic. See down the road. And so I always liked that too. So it kind of came out of a conglomeration of things. And I put them all together to keep the shiny side up, see down the road. And then this, where I ended I just started doing that for some reason. I have no idea why. I don't know if I saw it somewhere else. I stole it from somebody else. I might have. I'm not sure. But I'm not going to claim. It's not mine. So I just started doing it. Or it might be mine. I don't know. But anyway. So that's where the gang symbols come in at the end. They're not real gang symbols. I grew up sort of in Oak Cliff in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And, knew some of the gang symbols. Because a lot of the Oak Cliff kids moved down to Red Oak. We moved to Red Oak. So anyway, I'm going to go down to the bottom and work my way back up to the top. This is, let's see. Geraldo2881 asked me, this is just what's at the bottom of the screen. So, he asked 9 hours ago, do I play any mobile games? So, if I play any mobile games, and if I do, what are they? Or do I have any systems, like an Xbox or PS5, or what do I do basically when I pass the time? I have a TV in the truck. I never unfold it because I have the iPad now, and the iPad's an 11-inch iPad. And I have the ability to plug it into the stereo, so generally if I stop somewhere, I'll just watch TV. If I have a little time, I'll watch the TV. If not, I'm surfing Facebook, especially Facebook Marketplace, looking at cars. So, which I shouldn't be doing, but I am, Well, that's good. I really like that. Anyway, so I do that. I watch TV, watch YouTube videos. I watch different things online. I'm wanting to try to keep myself more busy. So I have, where's that box? I don't know. Anyway, I'll describe it later. Anyway, I have a set of kits that I want to start putting together. Model railroad kits that I want to start to try to take them on the road with me. I've got a toolbox. I just want to put a kit in the toolbox, put all the paint in the toolbox, maybe do that while I'm sitting still. I need to be writing. I'm never write. I always say I'm going to write. I never write. So I don't know. It's mostly this tends to distract me a lot. Matter of fact, this tends to distract me all the time. So I just put it that way. I'm not really a gamer. When I am at home, sometimes I am. I do have games like Train Simulator. I started out kind of poking fun at people who played American Truck Simulator, and then I got a little curious about it because I saw all these people building like these elaborate setups for American Truck Simulator. So I downloaded it and I started playing that a little bit. It's on and off. I play it every now and then. I have Railroad Tycoon 3 is one of my favorite games. Been out for 20 years. I just love playing that game. So, but as far as any systems on the truck, I have one of those little Nintendos that came out a few years ago that has like 30 games stored on it. I play Super Mario every once in a while, but I really haven't played it. I have an Oculus. I took that on the truck with me with the intention of playing it. Played that for like a minute and just ended up just sitting on the truck, so I brought it home actually when I came home this time. But generally, I just watch TV, listen to music, read articles, things like that. So, let's see who's next. Mike Nunley says, my interest is I would like to see your collection of cars. I was a mechanic in the Army from 74 to 77 in Fort Huacha, Arizona. Well, first off, Mike, thanks for your service. I really appreciate it and what you did. As far as the car collection is concerned, I've thought about doing that. I really haven't done it because up until now, what I've had available to do it with is the phone. And I don't really want to do it with the phone. I wanted something a little, something I could set up and kind of walk away from. And I have the DSLR, but I don't have a good enough laptop, in all honesty, to be doing all this stuff. And I think that I was thinking about upgrading, but there's nothing really good for sale online right now. So I think I'm going to wing it right now with the GoPro and everything. But it's in the works. I have 11 cars. It may go down to 10. It may go up from 10. I don't know. But I have 11 cars, and so I'm going to be looking around. I'm going to be looking at how to show you guys every car. So, next question. Let's see. I already answered Stan's question. Okay. Andrew asked, how old were you when you got into trucking? Well, it depends. There's kind of two answers to that. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a truck driver. Terrible. I mean, we had some round containers that we got for Christmas one year as kids, and that was not a lid. It had a lid that was round. That was not a lid to me. It was a steering wheel. So I took that in the car and kept it in the car, and anytime we went somewhere, I would be in the front passenger seat steering. So when Mom would turn the wheel left or right, I would turn my little fake wheel left or right, and I would use and back then, you could roll down the road without really being buckled in on a regular basis. So I would use the buckle, the receptacle as my little gear shift. That was my gear shift going places. I wanted to drive so bad when I was like 7 years old, and I thought it'd be cool to drive the trucks. So I've always been into it then. When I officially finally got into trucking, the first time I tried to go into trucking, I think I was 22 or 24. It didn't work because I had some family things going on at the time, some family that needed my help. I ended up staying home and doing that instead. Then I got involved with the trolley barn and all this other stuff, and I don't regret anything that I did. I did everything that was right. But that did keep me from getting into trucking until I was 30, late 30. I was 30, and I decided that if I didn't do it now, I never would. I remember I was going on a road trip somewhere. I was notorious for doing that. I'd fill up the tank of the Caprice and just take off, and I'd drive like 400 miles in a day after work just to drive. And I remember passing a truck. It was a Peterbilt or Kenworth or something, and I just remember in my head looking at the toolbox and wondering what was in the toolbox, and then seeing the window above the toolbox and going, man, that guy lives a great life. Imagine waking up everywhere, like every day in a different place. And I just thought that was fantastic. And this voice started in my head at that point. If you don't do it now, you never will. If you don't do it now, you never will. If you don't do it now, you never will. And it just kept rolling. And finally, I couldn't take it anymore. And things at work, I think that voice made things at work more aggravating, and that's the reason I ended up quitting. I had a good job and was doing all right, but I wanted more stuff. I wanted a car collection. I wanted my own business at some point. So that it was officially getting into trucking, like actually learning how to drive a truck, was 30. I actually turned 31 a few days after I left. I left on June 13th, 2013. I was 30, and my birthday was 6 days after that. And I turned 31 out on the road. So, okay. So how long have you got in trucking? Andrew, thanks for your question, by the way. Brett White, how's the town car? Hopefully up and driving again. Be safe. No, it is not up and driving again. Kind of a funny story on that. I dropped it off at the shop. They've had it for 2 weeks now. I think what happened was, and I'm only speculating on this, but I think they lost the keys to it. And I kept calling and seeing if they were going to put it in, and they hadn't put it in yet. I kept calling, they hadn't put it in yet. And finally he admitted, he's like, hey, do you have the keys? We've misplaced them. And I said, no. And he goes, okay. Do you have an extra? And I said, no. And he goes, okay, well, we're going to cut some new keys for you, and we'll get that taken care of, and we'll get in the shop. I'm like, okay. So the mechanic that I have it at, he's a pretty decent mechanic. I haven't used him a whole lot, but the guy's a straight shooter, and it's hard for me to find a good mechanic that I like. So I'm going to give this guy a really good chance, because I really like him. I think he's, straightforward with me and tells me the truth about stuff. So, and he's done some work for me before on the pickup truck and a couple other things. So, anyway, all right, next question. Do you own any pickup trucks along with your cars? David Boyd asked. And he also asked, have you ever considered ice road trucking or custom critical sensitive freight hauling? I do own 2 pickup trucks, actually. I have a 73 GMC Sierra Grande. Does not have the original 454 in it. It has a 96 Suburban 350 in it that's been, I think it was bored out and had, I bought it this way. It was bored out. It's got high compression cylinders, and it's set up for a roller cam and roller lifters. Or, roller cam and lifters or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it's called. I'm not that savvy as far as engines are concerned. I get how a basic Chevy 350 works, with the lifters and the push rods and all that other stuff, but I get the terminology mixed up once in a while. I also have an S10, a little Chevy S10, belonged to a dear friend of mine who passed away a few years ago, and I kept it because it was very memorable. It was always at the Railroad Museum. So, anyway, I have those 2. Have I ever considered ice road trucking or custom critical or sensitive freight hauling? I have. Not ice road trucking. That doesn't appeal to me in any way. So, but custom critical, I've thought about it, and sensitive freight hauling, I've thought about it. I'm pretty good at keeping things from breaking out on the road. So, I've thought about doing that. I just haven't really looked into it. I did flatbed for a little while. I've done LTL. Didn't like LTL. So, or at least not line haul. Line haul is what's next to LTL. So LTL is where you can go to different places to pick up different things and come back. And then line haul is when they take all the stuff that's collected in the Dallas area, put it on a trailer, and take it to Memphis. And then in Memphis, it gets taken off and put on different trucks and goes out into the Memphis area. So, I've thought about doing line haul. There's a lot of money in line haul sometimes. I've thought about doing heavy hauling, but I haven't gotten into that because I don't want to climb all over equipment and try to tie it down. So, anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of laid back. I like doing dry van right now. I've done reefer before. I like doing dry van right now. I think that's probably where I'll stay currently. If a good opportunity pops up in the future to do something else, I probably will. Andrew asked another question. These are not in order, guys, so I apologize. Would you recommend CR England as a place to get a CDL? I would 8 years ago. If it was the company that it was 8 years ago. I cannot now. I don't exactly know how things have changed. I know they're paying more than they paid me when I was there. I have listened to a lot of friends. I've got a friend that works for Stevens Transport here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I have had friends that work for Swift. I got a friend that worked for Swift. He's not there anymore. But I have a friend that works for Swift. And other people, SRT and different companies across the board. The one that I really think is pretty impressive right now is Stevens. But I'm gonna say that I feel like they're changing based on what my friend is telling me. So now maybe a good time to get into that company and just try to deal with the crap that's coming. So you're probably going to be there for 2 years. You're going to be at any startup company for 2 years. So just prepare for that. So hold on. Next question. Andrew, thanks again for your question. Oh, and you also asked, would you still recommend young people getting a CDL in 2021? Yes, I would. Stan and I have talked about it a lot. I've talked about it with a bunch of friends of mine and everything. I don't think that the truck driver position is I think it'll change as far as responsibility is concerned, but I don't think it's going to go away. I think that what's going to end up happening is going to be like how we fly planes. We have autopilot. Planes have been automated for years. The pilot basically holds the controls and takes the plane up into the air. And when he gets up in the air, he reaches over and he flips a switch real quick, and boom, he's done. That's all he has to do. And so the plane kind of flies itself, and he just sits here. But he has to be there, and he has to monitor it. Okay? We don't let tons of steel fly through the air without somebody sitting in the seat. We have 2 people monitoring it just to be on the safe side, and in case anything goes wrong. Because we understand how diverse things are as far as flying are concerned. Something could come up that nobody's going to be able to deal with. Our computer's not going to be prepared for. I feel like driving a car is the same way. So I think what's going to end up happening is no matter what, you're always going to have a steering wheel. You're always going to have somebody there just in case something goes wrong. So yes, I would recommend it. It does pay very well. Even in the pandemic, we stayed busy because people were ordering stuff online all the time and everything. The commerce didn't stop, but it was still very, commerce didn't stop while we were during the pandemic. So it did drop in freight a little bit. It did slow down a little bit, but it picked up as soon as everybody kind of found their rhythm in the middle of the pandemic. And so I made some pretty good money. Not as much as I made the year before, but I still made good money. So, and Phil the Stalker is the last guy on here. Phil, he asked, "Are truckers closer to Jesus?" with a little smiley face. It depends on the trucker, and so if you ask, it just depends on the trucker that you ask. Do I think I'm closer to Jesus? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I want to be smart, but at the same time, I want to be humble, because I always remember that thing from Indiana Jones 3. It was like, a penitent man is humble before the Lord, which is we should always be humble before the Lord, I think. So, and that's just the way that I look at things. But I know I pray every day, and that's my decision as far as doing that's concerned. So, anyway, that's pretty much all the questions. I waited until 8 to see if anybody else would like to ask questions. It's now 8:23 in the evening, and I have answered all the questions. So I want to thank everybody that asked questions. I really appreciate it. I think this is going to be I want to say this is going to be a regular thing, but if you have watched my channel for as long as my channel's been around, you know that I say that all the time, and it doesn't necessarily happen. So, maybe once a month we could do like a Q&A or something like that, It's like, I'll put something out, and then we'll do like a Q&A the next week or something like that. So I'll probably have to start scheduling stuff like that, because otherwise I'll forget. ADHD squirrel, it'll hit once in a while and I'll completely forget. So, okay, one thing I want to add before I go, if you haven't watched the interview that I did with Stan, please go back and watch it. I said at the end of that I was going to do a Q&A next week on Saturday or on Sunday, based on that video. So anything that we talked about in that video, ask a question about it. Go watch the video, ask a question about it, and then I will answer those questions on the 19th and put that video out on Sunday, the 20th. Okay? So you have until the 19th to ask any questions in regard to the interview that I did with Stan. And then after that, you won't be able to ask any more questions. So, but if you haven't watched it, I think it was a good interview, so please go back and watch it. In the meantime, I'm going to continue working on the video that's coming out on Tuesday, and hopefully get it up and running. I was going to leave tomorrow. I got pulled over. The truck's inspection is due at the end of this month, and I was out late the other night, and I got pulled over. And the officer was trying to give me some crap about it, but he wanted to see the truck too, is what it was. And he said, "Hey, your registration's up at the end of this month, so make sure you get it taken care of." And it was a Waxahachie cop, and so I was like, okay. So tomorrow I got to go do that, and then I got to go register the truck, and then I'm going to spend all day tomorrow just basically getting the truck ready to go. And once it's ready to go, I'll probably leave Tuesday morning. So anyway, that's it. You guys know the drill. Keep shining side up, and I will see you down the road.